Well, howdy do. Welcome to Yoga Intermissions. Try this at home. Today's focus is 3 chairs for chair. Hurrah! 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 My name is Karen, coming to you from Salt and Sand Studios. I know I'm a goofball, but that's what makes it fun. And it's just yoga, right? So I recommend, if you have a yoga block, a meditation cushion, or a throw pillow, or even Yep, a roll of toilet paper. You grab one of those now. Toilet paper does not have to be covered, but it needs to be a full roll. We are going to start with a chair exercise, not using a chair, creating a chair. And then we're going to get on our mats on our backs to start with warming up the core. So the reason for chair, other than that Utkatasana, which is Sanskrit for chair pose, is my favorite word in Sanskrit to share. Utkatasana is a really powerful posture. It powers up the ankles, the feet, the legs. And when we engage appropriately, the core, the rib cage, the shoulders, and the arms. So it's a really, really cool, sort of all around, well-rounded position. I'm actually going to use the roll of toilet paper to show you an example. If you have a wall, and that's not requisite either, but if you have a wall nearby, go ahead and place your back against the wall and move your feet out in front of you. No socks because you might slip. And then begin to glide the tailbone downward. You might need to move a little forward for that. Your feet might come and be a little bit in front of your toes. And check out for a second where your low spine is and where your sacroiliac joints are. Sort of low back, across the low back, and see if you can press them against the wall. You'll need to draw the belly in and up for that. Open up your toes to create some real estate. And then place the block or toilet paper or whatever between your knees. That creates an action of the thighs sort of spinning toward each other in support of the whole posture. And then you might drop your hands down and your shoulders down and feel the connection of the shoulder blades with the wall. We tend to super arch the lower back, the lumbar spine in chair. This particular practice emphasizes a little bit more of a flat back until we actually work into chair pose. You might then raise the arms overhead and drop them into the shoulder sockets, or go ahead and find cactus shape arms. As you're working in this posture, instead of letting the belly kind of fall forward and down, you're going to draw the belly in and imagine your rib cage is kind of rolling in on itself and down toward your hip bones in the front. Yeah, it's a lot of work. We're going to breathe here for 5. If you're in chair, not using the wall, energy is in your heels for 4, 3, 2, and 1. Press yourself to standing. That's kind of the feeling that we're looking for when we are in chair freestanding. You might, for a while, decide you want to use a wall and your favorite roll of toilet paper to practice chair, to work all of the muscles that make sense. And now we're going to go ahead and meet on our backs with our knees bent. Feel free to start your music if you're utilizing any music or the Spotify playlist that I shared on the description. So kind of the same thing here, starting to feel the low back, the shoulder blades, and the spine connected to the earth. And maybe to do that, you take a little lift of your hips, and then one at a time, draw the vertebra downward, pointing the tailbone toward the sky. We're going to go ahead and gather the knees in toward the chest. We'll do a little bit of a stretch before we gently work the core in a lying down cherry sort of shape. You can go ahead and find knee circles. Lift your head off the ground, tuck the chin toward the chest, and then drop it back down. And if you took knee circles in a single direction, you're going to go ahead and make it the opposite. I don't know how you could do it in two directions simultaneously. I like being bicoastal, prescient, omnipresent. Lots of fun words to pair with Utkatasana. All right, we're going to go ahead now, place the hands by the sides. Bring the shins parallel to the earth and the knees stacked right above the hips, and you might take a peek at that. If you like, you can place your block between your knees or your pillow, your cushion, or your roll of toilet paper. Toilet roll, as the British say, loo roll. And then keeping your knees the same distance that they are right now, go ahead and tilt the knees over to the right by about 45-degree angle, maybe only 10 degrees. You're working to drive the left glutes into the earth. If they're lifting up, as mine are a little bit, come a little out of it. Use the belly, draw the rib cage in toward itself and down toward your bony hips. Inhale, knees above the hips, and exhale, knees to the opposite side. You might notice a difference on either side, and maybe there's some discomfort on one side. We'll acknowledge that and let it go. Knees above the hips, exhale, knees opposite side. If you're puffing your belly out, see if you can draw it in a little bit, drawing the back ribs toward the earth. Knees up, knees to the opposite side. Don't worry, there'll be one more round of this and then we'll be done with it until we move into our chair posture. Knees up, knees to the right, knees up, knees to the left. This time we're going to move all the way onto the left hip, drop the knees over to the left to find our way into a twist. Arms can flop out, creating space and opening across the collarbones and under the arms. The head can move over toward the right thumb. Turn over toward the right thumb as opposed to moving the head in another way. Big breath in. Full breath out. Palms down by your sides. Use the belly to lift back onto your spine. Squeeze the knees in toward your chest. Bring the knees above your hips once more. Hands drop, knees move all the way over to the right. You're coming onto your right hip, dropping your knees over, stacking them if that feels okay, and not if they don't. If it doesn't, arms flop out, head turns toward the left. Big breath in, full breath out. We're going to come all the way onto the right side. The left hand comes around and meets the right. Maybe the hands come under your head if that helps for comfort. And here we'll consider our motivation or an intention. Motivation meaning what brought you to your mat, and intention meaning some word, phrase, attitude, behavior that you intend to harness during this practice. Use your top hand to press you up to a comfortable seat. And here we'll take a moment or 10 for a little breath work before we chant Om, even if that chant is silent. So you're in a comfortable seat. Imagine your back is against a wall. If it isn't against a wall, if it is against a wall, there's no imagination needed. You're drawing the sitting bones and the tailbone down toward the earth like they're a tripod. So anchoring you there, steady, sturdy, stable. If you need to place something underneath your knees because you're kind of hanging on to them, feel free. You can stuff a blanket under there or use a block or a pillow. Hands rest somewhere, and then we go ahead and take the right hand and place the first two fingers right in the middle of the forehead between your eyebrows, and rest the ring finger on the left nostril and the thumb on the right. I'm going to block the left nostril with the finger and breathe in through the right. A little pause at the top as you block both nostrils. Open the left, breathe out. Block left. Open right, breathe in. Block right. Open left, breathe out. Both nostrils get blocked. The right one opens, breathe in. And we block both nostrils just for a hair of a moment. Open the left, breathe out. Both nostrils block. Open the left nostril, breathe in. So breathing in through the opposite side. Both get blocked. Open right, exhale. Close both. Open left, inhale. Block both. Open right, exhale. One more round, both blocked. Left opens up. We breathe in. Both close gently. Open up the right, exhale. Drop your right hand, breathe in. Breathe out through the nose. Inhale. Exhale. This time breathe in as deeply as you can. We'll pause at the top. Open your mouth and sigh it away. Two more of those. Inhale. Jaw drops. This time as you breathe in, shoulders shrug up. Let everything go. Drop your hands by your side. Sweep them outward. Breath in. Pause here. Arms get wide. Breath out. Inhale, lift arms high. Maybe the gaze lifts, even if the gaze is internal. Exhale, hands come together at your heart. Returning to your motivation or intention, or perhaps this time you bring to mind a dedication, someone to whom you'd like to benefit, to whom you would like to send the benefits of the practice that you have begun ever so slightly and move into more deeply. We'll use a chant of Om to celebrate that and surround ourselves with it as if we could create a foundation for our practice. Exhale all the air out of your lungs. Breathe in fully. Eyes can flicker open or remain closed. Palms come to your knees. We'll take a little rounded back leaning away from the knees. Rounding out the back, drop the chin. Arms get long. And now use the belly strong to lift up, to open up the heart, a sort of seated cow shape, opening up, lifting the gaze, shoulders back, arms with a little bend, seated cat once again around the spine. Shift away from the knees as far as you can. Arms get straight, head drops. Inhale for that seated cow again. And exhale, seated cat. Last time for the cow. And we sit up nice and tall, lower the shoulders from the ears, find our way into child's pose, coming face down, knees wide or narrow, whatever works for you. Taking your time to fully experience the beauty of this asana, balasana, child's pose. Head resting on something, big breath in, and a full breath out. You're going to come on to the fingertips, lifting the wrists off the mat. Head lifts up, shoulders get wide, and we tuck the right arm behind the left wrist, coming as far out to the left with that right hand as you can, bringing the palm face up and drawing back down for a little twist. It's a baby twist, so it'll be funny because it's in child's pose. So it is sort of a child's twist. Unravel from this right hand in front. You're drawing back to your fingertips, nice and long in the spine. Maybe the fingers can crawl forward a little bit more. And we tuck this time the left arm behind and underneath the right. Bring the back of the left hand to the earth and coming back down again on your tricep or shoulder and allowing the head to drop. Unravel from this, coming back to your fingertips. This time we'll take a walk over to the right with the hands, working the left sitting bone toward the left heel. You might drop back to your forearms, let the head fall down. Noggin is heavy, it's like ballast. The opening along the left side of the body you should feel throughout the left rib cage, up into the underarm and the outer shoulder, and all the way to your left pinky finger. Inhale, crawl through to center. As you breathe out, crawl to the other side. Hands stack once again. Walk your way through the center, come into a tabletop. It's interesting how that very little amount of movement can warm you up. I'm going to remove my outer layer. You're going to be in a tabletop and follow the little words of your body or indicators of your body into any shapes and movement that makes sense. Moving the spine left and right, maybe finding a hula hip motion. Maybe it's more cats and cows. Maybe you want to open up your wrists and the tops of the feet or the soles of the feet. I'm going to move into cat cow. That feels right today. And as described in the session listing, we're going to focus on chair pose, but we're going to sandwich it with a little bit of flow. Hands move forward just a couple of inches. Tuck your toes under. Super slowly draw your heels to the ground and your sitting bones toward the sky. That leads us into a downward facing dog posture. You might need to separate your feet a little bit. Maybe find a little pedaling in and out of the knees. Working the chest energy toward your thighs. I've got a splinter in my toe, so you're going to stay in downward dog for a couple of breaths while I remove that. There we are. We are all good in our downward dogs. And then we're going to rise back to the tiptoes, bend the knees, look past the hands, and walk to the hands, or hop to the hands, or skip, or jump, or dance. Feet come parallel to the outer edges of the mat for your forward fold, Uttanasana. Perhaps a ragdoll here. Release your hands to the earth, glide your hands to your shins. Find a halfway lift, Ardha Uttanasana. This is a long, flat spine. Sitting bones and shoulders behind you. Crown of the head forward, belly in and up. Breathe in. Exhale, release. Halfway lift again, Ardha Uttanasana. Find 2 full rounds of breath here. Exhale, fold. And once more, half lift. Forward fold. Knees remain soft as we unravel all the way to standing like the sun rising as slow as molasses. Similes, analogies, running rampant here. Hands by the sides. Tadasana, mountain pose. Stacking the knees over the ankles, the hips over the knees, lengthening in the belly. A little power in the thighs, but the knees are not locked. Inhale, arms sweep out and up. Exhale, hands to your heart. Hands drop by your sides. Inhale, sweep them out and up. Press the palms together there. Lift the arms nice and high. Drop your right hand by your right side. Breathe in, get tall on both sides of the torso. Left and right. Exhale, tilt over to the right. Energy into the outer edge of that left foot. The left rib cage sort of accordion-like expanding, and the right rib cage, even though it is contracting, is still kind of doing both, expanding and contracting. Dynamic tension. Inhale, both arms up high. Palms pressed together again. This time elbows bend, fingertips between the shoulder blades or at the nape of the neck. Press the head back into the forearms. Cactus shape arms. Squeeze the shoulder blades together. Our first chair pose, keeping the feet where they are. Sitting the sitting bones back and down. Keeping the heart open, energy into your heels. Toes can peel off the mat and come wide, then place them from the pinky toe all the way back down to the mat. Imagine you have your block or roll of toilet paper between your knees. Drop your hands behind you, hands interlace, fingers interlace or hook together. We stay in the chair and open up the heart. We slowly rock to the toes of the left foot. Press the foot back down and rock to the tips of the toes on the right foot. Take that again. Right foot down. Left heel lifts here on the tippy toes. Left foot down. Right toes. And last time for now, right foot down. We lift up the left heel and ball of the foot. Left foot down. We lift up the right heel and ball of the foot. Draw both feet to the earth. Get them firmly planted. Continue to sit downward and draw the rib cage in toward itself and toward your bony hips on the front of the body. Feel that feeling. Firm up the thighs. Keep the knees bent, fold over your legs. Maintain your bind, although it might lift off from the spine. Nod your head and shake your head, maybe wiggle into the shoulders. Open and close the jaw, waggle your eyebrows. Exhale, hands release to the earth, halfway lift. Breathe out, forward fold. We got to take our stretch on the other side, so we'll unroll all the way to standing, moving through Tadasana, sweeping the arms out and up, pressing the palms together. Getting long throughout the body, the left hand drops. Breathe in. Torso wide. Exhale, tilt over to the left. Inhale, both arms float high. We return to a chair pose, this time cactus shape arms again. Open up the collarbone. See if you can work the tailbone a little forward. Maybe sit down a little bit deeper. This time we'll lift onto the balls of the feet, firming up those thighs. We crouch all the way down, hands to the heart, sitting bones toward the heels. Knees bent, beautiful. Big breath in. And out, hands drop to the earth. And we find a runner's lunge, shooting the left foot way to the back of the mat to allow the right knee to be stacked over the right heel. It might help to place blocks underneath your fingertips as you work to peel your belly energy, your benergy away from your right thigh. Left hand down. Let's take the heel of the right hand to the low back. Breathe in to lengthen the spine. Exhale, twist. This way, we're not working it all into the shoulder and the arm, but rather the twist comes from the navel. Right hand down, back knee taps, but we don't leave it there. We lift it back off the mat and then extend the front leg to fold over it. Peel forward, runner's lunge. Once again, tap the back knee, but don't stay there. Press the heel away from you. Lengthen your front leg, fold over it. Inhale forward, runner's lunge. This time we leave the back knee on the ground and we find a half split. Untucking the back toes, the hips stack over the left knee, and the right foot creeps forward or lifts forward if you have that core strength to lift the ball of the foot off the mat. Knee can be bent, hands can move back, blocks can help. And we're reaching the heart forward, the crown of the head forward, and maybe downward, but it doesn't have to be. We don't need to get super close to the leg, but see how far you can go without rounding the back in a big way. Right foot comes down to the mat, hands might crawl forward, back toes tuck. We're going to find our way to pyramid pose, Uttanasana. So as you lengthen your legs, you're going to hop that back foot partway up the mat. Square your hips to the front of the mat. Both sets of toes are moving forward. In this time, a little opposite to chair pose. Imagine the right thigh moving away from the left thigh, spinning outward, away from the midline. Drop your head. Hands move forward a little bit so you can shift your weight into your right foot. Lift the left leg off the mat. It doesn't have to come very high. Right leg as straight as you can get it. Squared in the hips, left knee to your nose. Drop the foot to the earth. Come back into chair pose, Utkatasana. Arms wherever it feels okay. This time the chest might be a little more forward than it has in the past because you're getting a little bit deeper. Hands to your heart. Rise up to the balls of the feet. Sink down into your squat. Hands under the shoulders, right foot shoots back, runner's lunge. Finding this posture. Now it's not the Olympics where you're supposed to be landing perfectly. In yoga, you find your way. Things change over time. The body responds, and we respond to the body. Right hand down, heel of the left hand right toward your low back for your twist. Left hand down, back knee taps. We straighten that leg And then we straighten the front leg to fold over it. Ooh, this one's tighter. Wow. Peel forward, runner's lunge, back knee taps. Back leg lengthens, fold over your front leg as long and straight as you can get. Front knee bends this time, back knee drops down. We find our half split. Hands can help us get there. Scoot the sole of that left foot back onto the mat. Tuck your right toes under. Find Uttanasana, pyramid pose. Both legs lengthen. Right foot hops halfway up the mat. Both sets of toes pointing forward. Blocks or something under your hands if you need it. Wow, my hamstrings and calf on this side are much tighter than the other side. But I won't reprimand my body for that. I will find a little ease with breath. I'll take the energy out of my neck and out of my shoulders. Back foot steps up to meet the front. Guess where we're going with this? Chair pose, Utkatasana. Thighs spinning toward each other, legs fortified, belly strong, rib cage moving in and down, thighs spinning toward one another, biceps just in front of your ears, fingers nice and wide. We've been secretly practicing our balance, hands to the heart. Press energy into the right foot, lift the left knee toward your chest, shift into a standing balance with airplane or bird, maybe just as an in-between. And we step back into a warrior two. Back foot is parallel to the front of the mat. I just remembered we forgot something on the left side. So we'll do that momentarily. Finding power in that back leg, power in the thighs. Activating the belly and the glutes. Flip your front palm, reverse. Lift the right heel off the mat. Keeping the heel off the mat, so you can press your right leg long. So you're pointing your toes. Keep the leg long, bring the heel down. Maintaining your reverse triangle, basically. Warrior two. Reverse. Right heel off the mat. Keep the heel off the mat. Sink deeper. Press the right leg long. Keep the heel off the mat. Bring the right heel down. Reverse triangle. Warrior two. This time we'll reverse. Lift the right heel. Sink down. And stay in the reverse warrior two. Bringing the right heel back down. We're nice and deep here. Side angle, right forearm inside the right thigh. Left arm sweeps around. The bicep can come over the ear as you open up your heart, or the fingers can lift to the sky. We're going to work back into a reverse warrior two, just to windmill the hands inside the right foot. Come on to the ball of the back foot. Drop the back knee and find our way into a lizard to open up our hips a little bit more. You're going to heel toe the right foot out to the right, maybe all the way to the edge of your mat. Make sure you're not right on the kneecap of the back knee. Peel the front foot open like a book so it comes onto the outer edge. You might stay here, shifting your pelvis forward rather than down. Or you might find you can move the hands forward and bring your forearms to a prop or to the mat. Falling off my roll of toilet paper. Hand plant underneath your shoulders. Once again, we tuck the back toes under and work our way into a high plank. Straight to downward dog, or maybe you find a chaturanga. And meeting downward dog where we breathe in. And we breathe out. 2 more full breaths. Make your way to the front of your mat. I'm taking it on tiptoes. You can take it otherwise. Forward fold. Half lift. Forward fold. Flow to standing. Exhale, forward fold. This time with your fingertips on the ground, float your right leg high off the mat for your standing split, which I forgot to do on the other side. Powering up both legs, squaring your hips. Draw your right knee to your nose. Plant the foot, chair pose, Utkatasana. Hands to your heart. Energy into the left foot as the right knee lifts up toward your chest. Not worrying if you fall out of balance here, but find a single steady point for gazing. Bird or airplane. Warrior 2. My inner thigh tighter on this side than the other side, so I have to work really hard to move that left knee away from the midline. Use the whole front foot. Flip your front palm, reverse. Lift the left heel off the mat. Sink down. Keep the heel lifted. Lengthen your front leg. So you're pointing your left toes forward, and then bring your left heel down. Still opening up the left side of the body. Warrior 2. Reverse. Left heel lifts. Sink further. Keep the heel lifted. Straighten your front leg. Left heel comes down. Open up the whole left side of the body. Warrior 2. Reverse. Left heel lifts. Sink down. Stay low. Drop the left heel down. Side angle. Warrior 2, reverse. And windmill into lizard on this side. Back knee drops, toes untuck. Left foot way to the left. Peel it open. Walk forward. Pelvis moves forward. Hands plant under the shoulders. We come into a tabletop. Cross the ankles, doesn't matter which leg. Tuck your toes, and then shift back, finding a long cross-legged child's pose. You might need to shift the hands forward, glide them forward on your mat. Opening up your low back and opening up the sole of the foot of the foot that has the toes firmly on the mat. If you're super flexible, you might have both sets of toes on the mat. Shift forward, uncross your legs, cross them the other way, your ankles that is. Tucking the toes, whichever are closest to the mat, and shift the bottom back again. Shift forward, uncross, walk your hands backward, come to kneeling upright, or as I like to say, standing on your knees, because you're not sitting on your heels. Tuck your toes under. Bring the heels of the hands to the low back so the fingers point down. The hands are sort of curving around the flesh. They're right at your low back. We're going to draw the belly in, shift the hips forward an inch, press the flesh under the hands down, and then lift the heart, squeeze the shoulder blades. I'm going to take that sequence again. Hips forward, lengthen the torso, press flesh down, lift heart, squeeze shoulder blades. And then one more time, shift hips forward, lengthen torso, press flesh down, heart lifts, shoulder blades fall in love. This time maybe the head drops back. And if you have a half camel or a full camel, you can take it here, being careful of your low back. If you take a half camel, you're going to take 3 breaths on one side and 3 on the other. I am remaining in this adjusted camel. I'm going to rise back up, drawing the belly in, shoulders over the hips, hands to the heart. And then untuck your toes. Sit down on your heels, hands to your knees, round the spine. Neutralize the spine. Round the spine. And neutral. We're going to find our way to a seat for a twist before we come all the way down to the mat. Tuck the heel of the right foot underneath your left thigh as close to the buttocks as possible. You're welcome to keep the left foot on the ground in front of the right ankle or cross it to the outside of the right thigh. I'm going to remain with my foot in front. Left arm is not a kickstand, it's just a little guide. So you sit up nice and tall. Right elbow can be outside your left knee if that works for you, but it's not required. We don't want that knee to scooch way to the right. We want to stay firm on the mat with the foot. Breathe in. Exhale, twist. Left knee outward, right knee downward, belly twisting. So good for the organs, so good for the breath and the energy lines. We come forward, both hands behind, switch the legs up. Sit up nice and tall. Left heel this time is just in front of your right buttocks. Breathe in nice and tall. Exhale, twist. Time flies when you're having fun. Come front and center, soles of both feet on the mat. Scoot your bottom to the middle of your mat. Hands on your knees. Round the spine a lot, drop your head. Stay upright for a moment, and then slowly begin to lower one vertebra at a time, all the way down to the mat. Knees will hug in. You can find knee circles, happy baby, legs up the wall, or simply stay with your knees hugged in. I'm going to go ahead and cross my ankles. Take a hold of the outer edges of the feet and draw them inward. And if you take something that is asymmetrical like I just did, after 3 breaths or so, you'll switch it up. We'll meet with virtual legs up the wall, the hands underneath your low back, and the legs nice and long. Big breath in. And a full breath out. Final resting posture, whatever works for you here, which could be Supta Baddha Konasana, which I think I will take. You can remain with legs up, an actual wall, or a more traditional corpse pose with the legs long, space between the feet, arms long, space between the arms and the side bodies, palms upward. Let everything wash over and through the body, no thinking, simply experiencing. Whatever sensations, whatever thoughts, no effort in the breath, Shavasana. Invite some wiggles back into the body and deepen the breath as you do so. In so doing, you'll gain some momentum, maybe even a little stretch or a big stretch, to find your way onto one side. Whichever side feels more natural for you today in this moment. Might be different from what would have happened yesterday. And return here to your intention, your motivation, with a little bit of extra special sauce, some gratitude for yourself for showing up on your mat today. Each time we do gives us the practice to take off the mat and into the world. A little extra kindness, a little extra calmness, a little extra being in the moment. Press yourself to a comfortable seat. And what's there, if you haven't said a dedication, bring to mind dedication, a person or persons, being or beings, or maybe it's an aspiration that you have dedicating yourself to kindness for the remainder of the day or the week or the month. Shoulders relax from the ears. We drop the hands by the sides. Arms lift out to the sides. Breathe in. Remain here. Breath out. Arms lift high overhead. Breathe in. Remain here. Get tall. Breathe out. Long inhale. Exhale. Hands find their home together at your heart. Come back to that dedication. Come back to the beauty and merits of this practice that you chose, that you guided yourself with the guidance I was able to offer into what worked for you. We'll celebrate the practice that brings us together. We'll celebrate one another, our community. We'll celebrate those we dedicated our practices to, or that to which we dedicated our practice. We'll do so using an Om. Perhaps it is a silent Om, but if you would like to join, feel free. Big breath in and out first. Thumb knuckles connect with your center forehead. May you find the power of your body, your heart, and your mind in any moment to bring kindness to others and yourself. Namaste. Three cheers for chair, 3 cheers for each of you, 3 chairs for each of you. I hope you have a really great rest of your day or evening, weekend or week. My name is Karen, coming to you from Vermont, Salt and Sand Studios. If you're in and around the area, there are classes mainly on the weekends, but also Wednesday nights. Would love to have you here. Take care. Bye.